Ladies and gentlemen, it's me, James Spinney, coming at you this Monday from the balcony above the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, ready to kick off the new trading week after Super Sunday saw a super game until that questionable call at the end. And I'm not even a fan of Philadelphia. Let's just be honest here. That was questionable, but a great game otherwise. Hopefully, the city of Philadelphia is not totally on fire. Something that was going to happen regardless of a win or a loss. Congrats to Pat Mahomes. Everyone was watching the game in this country, so much so that even in San Francisco, a city that prides itself on not caring about masculine things like sports, a friend of mine from Australia was in customs and had to wait 2.5 hours on a line in San Francisco's airport as only 2 desks were open out of 40 during the game. Lesson learned for all my international friends. Don't come to the U.S. during the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, as Philadelphia gets cleaned up and hosed down, investors are wondering right here on Wall Street if last week's major losses will continue. Last week, a bit rough for the U.S. markets, kind of like Rihanna's performance last night. Yeah, I said it. Inflation and earnings results were not that great, kind of like Rihanna's performance. Will we see a rebound or will we get ready for an extended drop? Let's now take a look to see how the markets are shaping up to start off not just the session, but the week as well, right here on Wall Street. U.S. stocks on the rise this Monday after the S&P 500 and NASDAQ saw their worst weekly declines in nearly 2 months. Microsoft and Salesforce leading the Dow's gains, rising 3.6%, 1.8% respectively. All 3 major indices coming off a losing week, with the tech-heavy NASDAQ sliding 2.41%, its biggest weekly loss since December. The move's also coming after Fed Chair Jerome Powell said there was still a long way to go in the fight against inflation. The final leg of earnings season also continuing this week. We have Coca-Cola, Marriott, Paramount, Cisco, all scheduled for release. So far, companies have reported worse than expected results, so much so that Credit Suisse is saying that this year is the worst earnings season in more than 2 decades when excluding recessions. And lastly, congrats to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs on winning the Super Bowl.